Welcome.
Um,
Welcome to episode 5.
yes, the PSI Method Podcast. I'm Bianca.
I'm Kamyar. Nice to be with you.
So nice to be with you. So you already started out. You're like, do you want to know something? Should we record it or not? And I was like, okay, let's record it. What? Tell us the news.
Well, I've noticed in the last year or so that as I work with my patients or my clients on PSI and I introduce them to themselves, the experience is totally different than what it used to be when I first started doing this. I'm getting more and more people who are meeting themselves and experiencing them as they are, meaning not through an anthropomorphized shape.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll give you an example. I was working with a guy and we met his high self,
Mm-hmm.
his solar angel. And I don't like to do inception, so I don't give them an expectation of what it's going to be like. I just want to see what they experience. And he described this ball of fire, this intelligent
Mm-hmm.
light. And he never had, never ended up looking like Gandalf or somebody in a tower or no, he just saw the high self as it is.
Well,
And
that's what
ball of
happened to
fire light.
me.
Yeah,
My high self, right, is this star glowing
exactly.
entity that doesn't, right, have like a personal characteristics.
Exactly. And the other day I was working with another uh, a client who described their male self in terms of this like pale blue luminous oval shape. It's just, I mean, it's just so spot on.
Oh.
And a lot of my clients who are new to this, who are coming in, they don't even need a name. They're just communicating telepathically. And I asked the collective, well, is this just me or, I mean, is this an accurate observation? They said, yeah. And they said, you and Bianca together are going to accelerate this process, and there's going to be more and more people together who are going to be meeting themselves and experiencing it as they are. That we can start to drop these
Oh.
conventionalizations.
Whoa, you just blew my mind. I love that you're sharing this live right now. People, I did
Yes,
not hear this before.
yes,
We're doing this? This is so exciting.
yes.
Oh my goodness, I'm
And by
so
training
excited.
therapists to be able to do this technique, just like you were saying before we started recording, we're going to be change agents. And all of you who are watching today are change agents too. You don't have to be a therapist. I mean, I'm not a therapist, I'm a medical doctor. But PSI is not therapy.
Mm-hmm.
It is a series of concepts and a series of skills of self-mastery.
Mm-hmm.
PSI can be therapeutic,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not therapy
Yes.
because you're not broken. We don't need to therapize you. We need to help you find your center point, help you find the truth within yourself, and to build up that harmonic resonance until you're singing in the keynote that you were created in.
That is so beautifully said, especially, as I love music and play
Yeah.
music. That's so beautifully said. Whoa, that opened up a lot of questions for me. Okay, let me ask you this. So, you've obviously met all yourselves. I've met myself. Do you think that ourselves, I mean, my mental judge self has physically changed over time, but still feels human-ish. Do you think that for us, maybe ourselves might change?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they don't change in that sense. Their willingness to uh, show themselves to us closer to who they are is what
Mhm.
keeps evolving, and our
Yeah.
ability to see them for who they are keeps
Hmm.
evolving.
Hmm.
It's kind of like what we were talking about in one of the other sessions, how, a child sees a parent, especially their mother, as a care provider.
Hmm.
And they really have no idea at first that their parent or their parents
Hmm.
are working, that they were educated, that they have
Hmm.
a series of experiences in life. Your capacity to know your parent is based on your openness to see them as more than
Hmm.
just this one role.
Hmm.
And, it's a common trope in literature and theater and the movies. When you want to show that a personality, a person in a character in a story has an arc of development, their clothes changes, or in indigenous cultures, it's not uncommon for people to get a new name
Hmm.
because they've accomplished something. And
Hmm.
so, in the same way, when you're doing PSI work and you're working with your subconscious selves, their name might change or their appearance might change.
Hmm.
They might,
My mental judge self has changed so much.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I feel like we could ask her. I'm going to try an experiment between now and next week to ask myself to show me another expression of themselves
Mhm.
and see if perhaps what is the word, anthropomorphic,
Yeah,
the
be
human,
anthropomorphized.
yes, version of them. Maybe there's also something in addition to that.
Yeah, maybe you could ask them, are you willing to show yourself to me the way you are?
I mean, isn't that like the question that we're all asking everyone?
Yeah,
Are you willing to show me yourself as you are? That just brought up some terror, just so you know. That's my initial response to that.
yeah, it feels scary. But the thing is, when I ask people, like when I do workshops, and I ask people to answer the question, "Who are you?" Inevitably, their answer is never about who they are in their
Hmm.
essence, but the roles they play in what they do,
Hmm.
right? So if someone says, "Oh, I'm a mom," okay, well, if your children grow up, are you still a mother if you're not mothering? If God forbid your child died, would you stop being a mother?
Hmm.
If you say, I'm a husband, well, if you get divorced or your wife dies, do you stop being a husband?
Hmm.
If I'm a CEO and I get fired or my company goes bankrupt, I'm not a
Hmm.
CEO anymore.
Hmm.
These are all roles, they're masks, they're titles, they're things we're
Hmm.
doing. But I mean, you've heard me say this, we're human beings and not human doings.
Yes.
And we need to learn how to be as a human being. We need to get in
Hmm.
touch with our essence. And when we try to understand who somebody is, we're still trying to understand what they do. And
Yes.
we're just trying to remove some of these exaggerated or defensive or protective masks that they're wearing.
Hmm. We are. We're trying to compartmentalize, figure them out. Who are they? What are they? Where do they fit within the structures and the systems? I think usually as a means for us to figure out how do I relate to you in order to keep myself safe.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
But really, even when we try to understand someone else, it's really because we haven't understood ourselves.
Hmm.
Because if you understand yourself, you've understood the other person
Hmm.
in terms of essence.
Hmm. Anybody done that yet?
Yeah, the great Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, the Christ.
I did this totally. I have to share some of my random ideas because I'm obsessed with tattoo designs right now. Whether I'll get one or not, we'll never know. It might be the PSI logo. I don't know at this point. And I've also been listening to a lot of Ram Dass, and he sort of talks about how everybody is nobody and everybody's everybody. And so I had this really funny thought to get like one of those stickers that says, "Hello, my name is nobody." I was like, oh, that could be a tattoo, one of those stickers. "Hello, my name is nobody."
Yeah.
Just dropping all of the things that we attach ourselves to.
As
that we
long as
think
we
is
have
our
a second
identity.
sticker that says my name, I'm hello, my name is everybody.
Yes, that's the other part. I was like,
Yeah.
yes, hello, I'm nobody and everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is exciting. You want to talk about how you think we're going to do this? I mean, I think we're doing it with the podcast, this idea of bringing this process to more and more people. And I don't know anything else about how the process is shifting that you got info on.
That's it.
I mean, it's a big one. I'm
That's a big
excited.
one.
I'm
Yeah,
here
it's a
for the
big one.
ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
So exciting. All right, so as new things occur, we'll share them here. New opportunities for
Yeah.
people
I
to
mean,
engage.
just think about from the time of Freud and then to Jung. It was just such an abstracted concept
Hmm.
of id, ego, and superego, and
Hmm.
then how Jung expanded it to the anima and the animus and the shadow.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then you had other people like Bella Karish, who was talking about the threefold personality, where she recognized the male self and the female self with the high self. Of course, the Huna tradition from Hawaii also had a concept of these three levels of
Hmm.
personality as well. Um, but Max Freedom, Max Long Freedom was the guy's name he was a white guy who wrote about this.
Huh.
And there's a really good book by um, an anthropologist. He wrote a book called Bowls of Light, and it was about
Hmm.
his relationship with one of the last, I guess, lineage Hunas of Hawaii, who he met. Yeah. So those books go into a deeper level, I would say, of personality. But at least the way that I read them and received them, they really weren't talking about meeting the personality directly.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
this isn't a question of better or worse. It's really observing the arc of evolution.
Hmm.
Because, when you're doing Jungian work, it's like you're trying to peer to look through like a telescope on a foggy night and just looking for a glimmer of light, like
Hmm.
doing the shadow work or analyzing a painting or doing sand tray therapy.
Hmm.
To me, these are really helpful, but you're always staying in the periphery. You're always
Hmm.
at like a satellite level view
Yes.
of what the personality is saying. And there's a real risk, I would say, of projection by
Hmm.
the therapist or
Hmm.
forcing some type of interpretation.
Hmm.
And what I've enjoyed about the PSI method is that you're inviting the individual to do the discovery. That's why, as we said, is the personal self-integration, because you're doing the integration yourself, not
Hmm.
me or you, Bianca.
Yes.
But we are guiding them. We've gone ahead, and so we can come back and say, this is what I've seen. These are the techniques that are helpful, but you
Hmm.
need to discover this for yourself, your
Yes.
journey.
Yes, it is true. It is true. Yeah, I do love that I do feel like having been a therapist for 20 years, a lot of it does feel like it's like you're out here trying to observe what's going on in the inner landscape of a person and then talking about it and sort of trying to describe what's happening. But I have felt with PSI that you just go directly in and the client does it. You facilitate with the processes, but you really just go, it's like you just illuminate the inside. You just are like, here's a huge flashlight, gentle flashlight. Okay, it's not going to be scary. We're going to go in, and then it's illuminated to you. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think it's incredible how quickly I think people are able to access the selves with not a ton of intervention on our part, and it does feel like the client is accessing something like ancient that has been there the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. It is pretty incredible to see that.
It's
Do you find,
satisfying.
yeah, do you find that most clients you feel like, because you've obviously been doing this for years, all different walks of life, all different types of people. Do you feel like they can usually pretty easily access?
I would say about 80% of the time they can easily access it. I
That's
definitely
pretty
have,
high.
yeah, but I have my group of clients or patients that
Hmm.
um they there's something typically within their mental judge self which creates an interference pattern, and they
Hmm.
just or they've over relied through their male self on rational thinking,
Yeah.
that they have a hard time letting go of that
Hmm.
and stepping into that place of quiet self-observation.
Hmm.
And what I continue to work with them, but what I do is I share my insights into
Hmm.
their subconscious selves,
Hmm.
and I'll wait for them to validate it, or if they want to correct something or put a fine point on it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Or I listen to the language they're using, the metaphors, the intonation, and I'm
Hmm.
able to read and see
Hmm.
clairvoyantly their subconscious selves. And so I'm really having two conversations with them at the same time, one through words and one through.
80%'s a pretty high rate.
Well, it may be self-selective because of my work in endobiogeny. I'm That's already quite selective for people who want to be personally responsible for their health, want to
Mm-hmm.
be proactive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already kind of like a health Sherpa in
Mm-hmm.
that sense,
Yeah.
that I'm helping them to frame the health objectives, to identify the areas of imbalance, and then to bring in some gentle regulating and managing remedies to help them achieve their health goals. And so for me, adding PSI as a method in my repertoire was very natural, because it's just like endobiogeny in terms of it's a form of systems thinking. You're looking at the network of the whole, and you're seeking to balance rather than arrogating to yourself
Mm-hmm.
the idea that you can fix somebody
Mm-hmm.
or make the physiology do something or
Mm-hmm.
get them to stop thinking a certain way.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm a product of this. That's how I landed here
Yeah.
6 years ago. That's how it started. And I see now that I've been under your wing here for a period of time, you started sprinkling in some of the PSI early on, but you didn't call it PSI. And we didn't even talk about, well, maybe you said some masculine, feminine
Yeah.
selves, but yeah, you're
And your dream
masculine.
and in dream interpretation,
Yes.
shared
Yeah,
some dreams, and that might have been how we first started exploring your subconscious selves.
that might have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are going to do an entire episode on dreams. It's in the list.
Oh, good.
Yes, because I feel like I could go there now. But what I really want to do is I want to make sure that we tie up what we talked about last episode about relationships.
Okay.
Yeah, does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So you had shared that there are four phases to relationships. Are these just romantic relationships or could they also be friendships?
I think it's any type of relationship.
Okay, any type of relationship. Okay, so there's four phases, and we covered phase one and two. And will you just give a quick summary of what happens in phase one and two, and then we can talk about phases three and four?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, phase one is like the honeymoon phase. It's when you discover and grow close to somebody, and that phase is typically experienced through the two female selves of the individuals who are in some type of relationship. And there's a great feeling of openness, of expansiveness, of sharing. People generally don't feel vulnerable, or if they do, the process of unfolding lessens their vulnerability, relatively speaking.
Mhm.
But what happens is, as the female selves who are naturally open and naturally wanting to be in relationship,
Mhm.
and the more open you become, the more the other parts of the personality begin to feel insecure, because they
Mhm.
feel that being open means being vulnerable
To
and
harm.
to
Yeah.
harm. So
Hmm.
phase two is the process of trying to defend yourself
Hmm.
or control the other or both. And that's typically where the male self and the mental judge self start to criticize the other person, or there's some type of distortion of what the other person is saying, or you're coming to conclusions through circumstantial evidence.
Hmm.
And so there's a level of tension which begins to emerge. So it could be, let's say in the beginning, two people are dating and they're perfectly happy to spend time at one person's house or another or their apartments, and they're not keeping track.
Hmm.
But at some point, you start to keep track, and the relationship is put on a balance sheet, right? Whenever a relationship feels like it's being adjudicated in court, fact, the last three times I came over to your house, fact, when you did come over, you didn't bring a gift, fact, and it just goes on and on. That's
Yeah.
where we're in phase two.
Just so you know, I have like a Rolodex of stuff. I mean, we had a conversation a few years ago about, oh, a partner, I was like, they won't say I love you. Every other way they were showing up, there was some energy around that word. And I was like, this is it. How dare they? It's been this long. It's over. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that was all of that shenanigans
Yeah.
going on. I
So
need you to do this because I've given too much and now I need to take back.
yeah,
Given too much love.
yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so it may be fairer to say that there's a phase zero, which is again the male self and typically the mental judge self saying to the female self, don't get in a relationship. Don't get in a relationship. Remember what happened last time? That's why phase one, even though there's a honeymoon phase, it can also be mixed with hesitation. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's kind of like when you're excited to meet somebody, but at the same time, you're
Little,
like, let's meet at a cafe. You're like, I'm safer in an open place,
yes. Or
right?
you're like, okay, I'm gonna have my best friend call me 15 minutes in
Yes,
case the person sucks. I can be like,
yes.
I have to go. It's an emergency.
So that actually happened to me. Somebody was going to meet someone, and they didn't know if they were going to like them or not. This was just a friendship.
Yeah.
Just friendship. And they said, um, call me in 45 minutes. So if I have to say, oh, I have to leave,
Yeah.
I can do that.
Life raft phone call. Lifeline.
Yes.
Yes.
And then it turned, now they're like sisters, like sisters from a different mister. But
Wow.
that fear
Yeah.
of making that connection, and they actually had several past lives together that really made in a convent. So actually, that it was
They
really
really were
like a
sisters.
spiritual, it was like a spiritual sisterhood.
Yeah. Cool.
And also they were biological sisters. So there are just like so many levels where they could just step into that.
Yeah.
But their mental judge selves created these barriers
Hmm.
that would, and actually when I finally showed up, they're like, "Oh, you're here? We're having such a good time. Like you don't have to be here." I'm like, "Okay."
I'm just doing my
So,
job.
that's kind of like a phase zero.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
but then in phase one, the
Okay.
female self and love just kind of takes over. And then in phase two, you have the balance sheet, the scorecard, the adjudication, and the court of your mind.
Hmm.
And then phase three is when there's an active attempt to ruin the relationship.
Hmm.
So, not sleeping.
Sabotage.
Sabotage. Yeah.
Sabotage.
Sabotage, not sleeping in the same bed, but infidelity,
Hmm.
uh, just having constantly judging the other person,
Hmm.
having a scowl,
Hmm.
not giving the benefit, everything becomes a power struggle.
Hmm.
So that's phase three.
Hmm.
And eventually, if there's no intervention, that
Hmm.
leads to the breakup of the relationship. And then phase four is once again the female self, but it's the female self's grieving of the loss of the relationship.
Hmm.
And what I've observed is that in the case of a marriage, or let's say a very dedicated and long-term non-marital relationship,
Mhm.
for every 1 year that the couple was together, it takes at least 6 months to heal.
Oh, wow.
So a 10-year marriage takes 5 years to heal. A 5-year marriage takes about two and a
Hmm.
half years.
Hmm.
So what I found helpful working with my clients is uh, to have a session with their female self and usually their astral judge self,
Mhm.
which also enjoys the relationship. And we have a celebration of what we gained in the relationship,
Hmm.
and we close it out with that
Mhm.
celebration.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
What do you think about all these endings and beginnings in relationships? Because I know I have had several endings in the past, I don't know, recently. And I don't know. I feel like sometimes relationships are meant to end.
yeah.
How do we make sense of this?
Well, just think of the very word we use. I mean, there's a reason that it's not called enchainment. It's called relationship because it's a relative proximity. It's a
Mm,
relative association.
hmm
And when relationships um, reach their fruition and they
hmm
come to a closure,
hmm
that's different than the relationship ending. What I described is how relationships go through these phases in the
hmm
dialectic, if you're
hmm
thinking from an ego-based perspective.
hmm hmm
Because all relationships that we experience are guided by our high selves for our growth,
hmm
everything which exists has to go through the three basic phases: existence, growth, and dissolution or ending. So you have a
hmm
beginning, a middle, and an end.
hmm
And when we grow to the maximum amount that we can with the other person with whom we're in relationship, ending the relationship is like a caterpillar going in a cocoon and saying, okay, I have to become a butterfly now
hmm
because I need to liberate myself because that beautiful relationship at some point, instead of becoming freeing or expansive, becomes contracting, becomes
hmm
limiting. And that's why in the age that we're living in, sometimes a divorce is actually an accelerator for
hmm
spiritual and personal growth, usually just
hmm
for one of the two in the couple.
hmm
Yes, I forget who coined the phrase, but whoever coined the phrase conscious uncoupling, I mean,
hmm
that would be an ideal situation where both individuals are
Yeah.
able to recognize the goodness in the other and
hmm
themselves, and also recognize that the fruitfulness of the relationship has come to an end.
hmm
So in that sense, everything that begins has to end because the ending is actually a doorway to a new beginning. And we limit ourselves by trying to um, rigidly hang on to what no longer serves the plan of growth.
Let me ask you this though.
Yeah,
How do you know the difference between phase three and what you're saying here? I imagine they feel different
exactly.
in your body. The
Yeah,
first one feels crunchy, sticky, angry, resentful, whatever, conflictual. Yeah. Whereas this, I don't know, organic, I don't know what we call this.
yeah
Other
it's a natural evolutionary process.
Mhm.
I mean, could you
Feels more
imagine if a
peaceful.
tree, yeah, it
Yeah.
is peaceful. I mean, look, these cycles are true even in the most transactional, engagements we have with people.
Hmm.
I mean,
Real estate broker. House is sold. Thank you so
yes,
much.
yes,
You don't talk to them every day after that.
the relationship, right, has
Yeah.
reached its fruition. Even if I'm at a restaurant and I appreciated the presence and what the wait staff brought to me, I mean, I'll tell them thank you for making this a beautiful meal for us or for me. I want to acknowledge their presence in my life. And that's the type of closure to that relationship.
Yeah. Yes. It feels different.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, I think that's a place that people really struggle. I'm really glad we talked about this because I feel like I personally struggle being that I've gone through such an incredible transformational year, and a lot of relationships have changed for me. And I got to be honest, I was a little stuck. You saw me. Some of them were a little crunch, but part of me feels, I don't know, like I almost didn't know this other way because a lot of these were very historical. They felt pretty loaded relationships. Didn't really know this other way to be like, yeah, this feels strange to no longer feel like this fits. And that's okay. You don't have to make that person whatever, say things about them. They're whatever. They're not growing enough for me. They're not aligned anymore. Like, but with the energy of that, it was really new for me to be able to just sit with the piece of just no, I just feel like maybe this has reached fruition.
Yeah, and that's different than I think this sort of pseudo enlightenment and the relationships where people are
Hmm.
like, it's not me, it's you. It's really you. You
Yeah.
know. And actually even worse than that is I think the coward's way out, which is to say it's not you, it's me. Because it's never you or me, it's us. Because
Mm-hmm.
relationships are just about alignment.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with a size 3 dress. There's nothing wrong with a size 10 dress. What's your body size?
Mm-hmm.
And how loose or uh, tight do you want that outfit to be? There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with the size.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about a fit. And so it's about
Mm-hmm.
you and the dress, not
Mm-hmm.
about one or the other. That's the whole point. Relationships are all about this relativity. Is the dress too small or are you too big? Are you too small or is the dress too big? It's
Mm-hmm.
it's both and it's neither. It's just
Mm-hmm.
about the fit.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a term in statistics which I like, which is called goodness of fit.
Mm-hmm.
When you have all these data points, yeah, on a graph, and you want to draw a line, and the more valid your data set is, the closer the dots are, the data points are to the line that you draw. And
Mm-hmm.
if you draw this line and the dots are scattered all over the place, we say it does not have goodness of fit. But
And
when
it's
on
because the
there,
dots are relative to the line.
that's right. And the
Yeah.
line is trying to find the middle point.
Yeah.
And so that's another way to understand that a relationship is no longer serving the two people in the
Mm-hmm.
relationship, the dyad, is
Mm-hmm.
that the goodness of fit is lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if the conversations you're having with a partner, for example, are I hate the desert, but fine, we'll go this time, but next time we're going to the beach because I like the beach.
Mm-hmm.
If you draw that line, yes, technically beach and desert, if you average them, it's like in the middle, but you can't really average them. They're both
Mm-hmm.
far away from this middle line.
Mm-hmm.
And the data points of what you like and who you want to be with and all these
Mm-hmm.
things are too far apart from that middle line.
Mm-hmm. And it's very hard to reconcile that.
Right.
Seems like you need two separate vacations.
Right. In which case, are you still a couple? You could be. You
Yeah,
could
you could
be
be. You might work that out. Yeah.
but if it comes from a place of love and you say,
Yes.
I want you to enjoy, you work so
Yeah.
hard and I want you to enjoy your time. And I work so
Mhm.
hard and I want to enjoy my time.
Yeah.
And when we come back home, I can't wait to share what I did and I can't wait to hear about what you did.
Yes.
then you're actually more together by having separate vacations than if you tried
Yes.
to force yourself and you resented the other person. Of course, when the female selves, when you're in phase one, then the response is, honey, wherever you are is where I want to be.
Oh, I have gone to places I never thought I would go based on that phase of life.
Yeah, yeah. I think one of the things that creates the fear of the end of a relationship is the glamour that I'll never find another relationship again, or I'll never find a relationship like this again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that would be like saying I'll never find anything to eat again. That's why I really believe that anybody can be a soulmate, and there are no soulmates at the same time.
Mhm,
If you think that a soulmate is the one and only person in this universe and on this
mhm,
planet that can be with you, I think that's a very limited view of relationships and togetherness.
mhm. And it really creates a sense of scarcity and is very stressful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you think we got that? Why do you think our culture has that? Like, where did that originate? That like one, you've got that one soulmate, and you've got to find them. And
Well, I think this is a very, it's a particularly actually Western European notion that probably started. I'm not an expert on this thing, but from what I've heard and read,
Mhm,
probably sometime in the 18th or 19th century, this idea of marital relations being based on love
mhm,
started to really become fully developed.
mhm,
I mean, there's all sorts of relationships based on lust and desire. And it was
mhm,
very common, for example, for the European nobility. Like there was the person you married, and there were the people that you had your trysts and your affairs with.
mhm.
And it was pretty well known in the
Yeah.
courtly circles how that that's just how it was going to work. I mean,
Mhm,
even in modern day France, when the Prime Minister Jacques Chirac passed away, his wife and his mistress
mhm,
were both at his funeral and standing next to each other.
mhm,
There was just this understanding that you had this relationship and you had that relationship.
mhm,
I think there's something that probably comes from a religious concept of
mhm,
fidelity, and then later this romantic idea.
mhm,
And I'm not saying that people shouldn't be in love with the person they're with.
mhm,
Uh, but if you look, for example, at traditional cultures, the idea was you'll come to love and accommodate yourselves to
mhm,
each other. And that place you meet in the middle is what actually creates the love.
mhm. Yes, it was married at first sight. I know we had talked a lot about that, but it was it's technically an arranged marriage.
Yeah.
They the matchmakers did their thing, and they're like, "This is it. You guys are going to fall in love within this institution of marriage." Did not really work, but I think it's because we have a different
We have a different mindset. And
mindset now.
you can't go back. It's very difficult to go back to that
Hmm.
pre-industrialization mindset
Hmm.
that you marry for social status or, religious affiliation or,
Hmm.
you're from the same village or you're a second
Hmm.
cousin or whatever it is.
Security, yeah.
Yeah, security, wealth, power, etc.
Hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of unhappy relationships from when marriages were formed out of these very worldly considerations.
Hmm.
Someone's wealthy, their family's powerful, influential, etc. But ultimately, all relationships we are there for us to learn something.
Hmm.
And what's important is that we learn
Hmm.
from the relationships that we're in.
Yeah,
But I
that's
mean, if I had my druthers, I'd love to see everybody love the people that they're in relationship with and enjoy it. That is the ideal, no matter how you come to it.
that would be great.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're working on. Yeah.
I think in the age that we're living in this post-industrialized age, where
Hmm.
there's, I mean, I would say that the less hard labor, manual labor there's been in civilization,
Hmm.
the greater the notion of a romantic relationship and
Hmm.
choosing a partner has developed.
Hmm.
Because, like, as I've observed, as I've traveled around the world and gone into more traditional countries, uh, people just tend to be a little bit more easygoing, and they never had the expectation that it was
Hmm.
a romantic love. They understood that the first priority is to go along to get along,
Hmm.
and that you're marrying each other's families, and the
Hmm.
relationship is more than just the two of you, which is part of
Hmm.
their motivation to get
Hmm.
along.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So now we're so individualistic that you can kind of cut and run, and you can
right,
also kind of survive on your own and
right.
not really have
So,
a
I mean, I
commitment.
would say, like, if you think about a traditional Japanese marriage, for example, I mean, the women were so horribly treated by their mother-in-laws. They were like an indentured servant,
Yeah.
not at all respected. I mean, you really died a slow death through this sense of humiliation. And,
Hmm.
the men had their own issues because their mothers were constantly telling them how to treat their wives.
Hmm.
And as long as their father was alive, they could never fully mature into an
Hmm.
independent person that can make
Hmm.
their own decisions because there's always an elder that you have to defer to.
Hmm.
So we have this extreme of suppressing your own sense of self and development
Hmm.
for the good of the some larger unit, if it's the family, the tribe,
Hmm.
the nation, whatever,
Hmm.
to this extreme level of individualization where
Yeah.
the slightest thing you don't like in the other person is grounds to separate from them.
Hmm.
And there's no willingness to work through the issues and to see that
Hmm.
what I don't like about you is what I don't like about me.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. The purpose of relationships is to grow and to learn. I just think
Yeah.
it's really important to hear that many, many times because I feel like we get so many messages, different messages, even this day and age, I feel like around what you're supposed to be doing in relationships and the whole idea of longevity equals the gold star. I do think it's really incredible. I do think there are people that do have very long-term relationships, long-term maybe partnerships. And yeah, I just don't feel like that's everybody's path. And it doesn't make their path not as good as everybody else's path.
Yeah, I mean, I think the vast majority of people who live together for 50 years, for 60 years, for 70 years,
Hmm.
they lived at a time where divorce was either illegal or not socially considered an option,
Yes.
or because one of the partners, usually the wife, didn't have any economic viability if she
Hmm.
left the relationship.
Hmm.
And so a lot of what looked like a stable relationship was filled with a lot of anguish or turmoil.
Yes.
So it's really like we're having two different discussions. One is a discussion of how people are living when they're unaware of their
Hmm.
subconscious selves.
Hmm.
And that's what's challenging for me, for example, when people, let's say, on the more on the far right or religious conservatives say, oh, well, in the old days, families were stable. It's true. They were stable, but they were also miserable. And you couldn't leave a marriage. It was difficult to leave a marriage even with physical abuse, sexual abuse.
Yeah.
You and I have probably both had several clients and patients where uh, like the mother knew
Hmm.
that her husband was sexually abusing
Hmm.
her daughter or her son
Hmm.
or a grandfather or uncle, and they
Yeah.
said nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, they had to really compartmentalize
Mm-hmm.
their own knowledge of that.
Yes.
So I don't think that just saying, okay, you have to stay together forever is really the point because
Mm-hmm.
that's not a path of growth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if both partners are consciously engaged in self-reflection and reflecting the
Mm-hmm.
other and using
Mm-hmm.
deep listening and empathy, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
these relationships have no end.
Mm-hmm.
There is no fruition, there is no end to the relationship if
Mm-hmm.
both people are growing at the same time.
Yeah. Yes, I'm so happy to see the movement to conscious uncoupling and to have actually witnessed it in with clients and friends. I don't think it's the norm currently, but I do feel that, I mean, the fact that we even have that term and that there's a philosophy around that, and that I do see people, especially people with children, that continue to be a family, even if the parents are no longer in a marriage, and communicate and be open and work through. As you said, it's usually one person who sort of feels like, I need to keep growing and I can't do it within this context. I feel like it's really impressive when the partner that doesn't realize that that's their journey is able to be gracious even with hurt feelings, and it doesn't mean it's not hard conversations. And then what I found is the partner who thought, oh, this is happening to me, goes, oh, this was my path to growth too. I didn't realize it.
Definitely.
And it's really beautiful. So I'm so happy that we're moving in that direction. I don't know if we had that, I don't know, 20 years ago, 30, 40 years ago. I don't know if people were really consciously uncoupling as often.
No, they were uncoupling with great spite, right?
Hmm.
Like just think about Kramer versus Kramer. Remember that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have heard really some horrific stories, yes, from like my generation of people with custody battles and terrible, terrible things. So things are changing. And that's not that long ago.
No.
It gives me hope. It gives
Yeah,
me
in
hope.
the scale of human evolution, this is a really rapid evolution. Yeah, 30 years is nothing in the arc of human history.
It's really not. Especially because you told me the other day that I'm going to have 1,400 to 1,500 lifetimes before I reach enlightenment.
On average, that's what most people experience.
That's just put it all in perspective to me. Just so you know, I've been really easygoing ever since then. Not for me, easygoing we know is relative, but for it's really taken the pressure off. Like, oh, yeah, I don't know where I'm at in that 14, 1,500 average. I could be 300. I could be, I don't know. I could be maybe only 40 lifetimes away. I don't know, but it really puts it all in perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which means I'm going to have so many more relationships. So many more. That means there's so much food to eat. There's a buffet.
That's
I have
right.
to find, there's so much more love I'm going to find.
And it's important to invest in your future in that sense of karmic return. Because, it's not even a matter of what we say or do to people. What we think and feel about them also creates karma.
Gotta
And
scrub my mind.
yeah,
Scrub my
well, it's not about scrubbing it. It's really it's about correcting ourselves when we're in the middle of
mind.
a non-harmless thought about somebody else.
Yes. And as I have learned, if I'm having any kind of contrast or conflict, it's because my selves are in conflict and it's really not about that other person. So I've really learned to sit when I'm in discomfort and go, who is it? Who's here? Who's here? What do you have to say? I'm listening. I'm listening. And one of my selves will come forward. And they're usually right, hurt or in fear. And maybe there are two of them are working together with stuff. And
And,
yeah.
just to make it clear, to really clarify for our listeners, it's not that the other person is not doing something harmful. They often are
Hmm.
also doing something harmful or non-harmless to us.
Hmm.
But the importance and the value from a PSI perspective to focusing on yourself and your subconscious selves is because that's the only thing you can really manage in the
Yes,
world.
and it's our reaction, I always feel like, to it.
Yeah, our perception and our reaction.
Yes, that is a very important
We own
nuance.
that.
Yeah, because I do feel oftentimes when I'm working with clients, it can feel hard, like, but they did something wrong, and the person really is not doing something kind or generous. Um, but I had another wonderful mentor, Dr. Adam Silverstein, when we worked at a treatment center together, a psychologist, and he would say to a lot of our clients, like, "Oh, must be so hard to be so bothered all of the time." Like that must be real, and he would do it really genuinely, like, and that's really how I feel. Like, oh, to be so upset by everything. I think there are things going on that yes require us to look at injustices or things that are going on, and to not just like just let them just spiritually bypass them. It's just all of the little things about people, and right, if you're in that phase 3 with a partner and everything they do, they didn't put the toothbrush away and this is open and how dare they, and all that energy is like, it's a lot, it's a lot to carry
Yeah.
around. And I have found more than anything in this past season of working with PSI, I have found the most solace and peace in working, because I am highly bothered by, as the reason I live alone in the middle of nowhere. I mean, my ex-husband would be chewing, and I would be like, I literally cannot be in a room with you. I mean, I am really, really had a lot of work to do. And it has really helped me find that internal harmony so that
Yeah.
my
And
reactions are
what we
different.
discover is that we're never alone.
No, yeah.
That's the blessing and that's the challenge because wherever we go, there we are with all of ourselves. So wherever you are, may you be in peace and harmony. And
Yes,
thank you for joining us. We're so grateful to have you
so grateful.
in this conversation with us and on this journey.
Yes, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye for now.
Bye.